Good morning, Big Ten fans. Welcome back to another edition of the Big Ten Morning Minutes. It is Thursday, January 31st. I'm your host, Michael Chen. You can give me a follow on Twitter at MFC2123. It is another cold, bitter cold day in the Midwest. Temperatures are still in the negatives. Won't go over that. So make sure that you're staying warm, staying cold, doing everything you can to avoid going outside. One of my jobs actually just sent me a text this morning saying that I'm off today. So I'll be home taking a look at some stuff. I've been watching QB1 the last few days, getting a little insight on Tate Martell, obviously, and then Justin Fields. But pretty neat to see some of these other football players go through it. I was very impressed with Jake Fromm, and I really like watching the second season so far. Real is quite a young man. I wish him the best, although it looks like he might be passed over at John Bosco by DJ, and I'm going to butcher his name. I'm not even going to try it. You go lately. I tried it, sorry. He's obviously a top prospect in the 20 class. That's a name that you'll hear, and I saw his name, and I was like, oh, wow. Real held off DJ. That's a hell of a job. So getting into the Big Ten stuff on the field, or technically off the field, Lovie Smith is going to lose a coach yesterday, as his running back coach, Thad Ward, is expected to go to Temple and be their wide receivers coach. Looks to me like this is a step down for Ward. Temple obviously is not a football powerhouse, although Illinois isn't either. Going from the Big Ten to any conference aside, for me personally, any conference aside from the SEC or the NFL, I think that is either a lateral step or a step down. To me, this seems like a step down for Ward. So we'll see how Lovie Smith ends up filling the running back position up on his staff. Another day, another walk-on for Kirk Ferentz, this time an offensive lineman in Clayton Thurm. Thurm had a bunch of lower offers and a preferred walk-on at Iowa State as well. He is an in-state young man, and he obviously loved the Hawkeyes, so that's where he opted to go. But, again, this is just roster fodder for Ferentz. Looks like Thurm, just due to his offer list, obviously, maybe he's a late bloomer. We'll see down the road if he ends up helping the program on the field, but most likely he'll help it in preparation as well. Penn State defensive end Sharif Miller was one of the very first prospects to announce that he will be attending the NFL Combine in April. And this morning, early news that Virginia Tech wide receiver transfer Eric Kuma will take a visit to Penn State and chat with James Franklin and his staff as well. Obviously, the wide receiver room for Franklin and the Nittany Lions has been a little short due to some transfers. Obviously, KJ Hamler leaving as well. So it's good to see that they're going to try to get a little bit of depth on that area, and obviously grad transfers come in with experience in the college game. Obviously, they're a little bit more play ready, and they're kind of more of a plug-and-play guys, so obviously they're looking to play their final season as opposed to sitting on the bench and working through it. So look for Kuma to land in a nice spot. Obviously, Virginia Tech's a pretty solid school as well. We'll see how James Franklin and Kuma work out that relationship. Jeff Brom finally got his 2020 class rolling with inside linebacker commit in Ben Krul. Krul didn't have he's not the highest rated prospect that you'll see Purdue pick up. However, it's a good way to get his class going in the 2021. Krul, he'll be most likely playing on one of the inside spots in the middle of the linebacking core for Brom, and we'll see how that development goes. They've got a couple other guys that they're looking at as linebackers as well. Karloff's younger brother Yanni is George's younger brother Yanni. He is a linebacker as well. So we'll see if he follows his brother to stay and get coached up by Jeff Brom and his staff. On the hardwood, Michigan State got some okay news and some really bad news, some injury news yesterday. Forward Kyle Ahrens, he has hurt his back again. He's had on and off issues with it this year, and it looks like he re-aggravated it, but unfortunately that's not the worst it's going to get for Tom Izzo, as Josh Langford, his guard, is going to be out for the season. He's been ruled out. He hasn't played in over a month since injuring his ankle on the 29th of December against Northern Illinois, but now it's been released that he will miss the remaining of the season, so that hurts Michigan State, as CBS's Gary Parrish released his top 25 plus one. Michigan State ended up ranked just outside the top 5 at 6. I'm not sure if he knew that Ahrens was hurt as well as Langford, so that might change a little bit. They might drop a little bit. Obviously, losing a player like either of their calibers is a rough loss, but nevertheless, it's going to hurt Tom Izzo and the Spartans. Michigan actually was the highest ranked Big Ten team at 5. Obviously, Michigan State at 6. And then the Big Ten did pretty well towards the end of Parrish's top 26 technically. As Maryland checked in at 16, Purdue at 22, Iowa at 25, and Wisconsin at 26. So a good showing by the Big Ten. There's been times where they've had a lot of teams ranked and just a few teams ranked. It seems like this year that the hardwood side, everyone's kind of beating up on each other, going back and forth, but it's still a good showing for the Big Ten on that. And that's going to do it for this morning's edition of the Big Ten Morning Minutes. I appreciate you listening. Just make sure that, again, I will repeat myself, make sure you stay warm in the Midwest. If you're obviously listening somewhere else, it's not a big deal. But inside the Midwest, it is bad. It is bitter cold. There's frost on the windows. There's ice literally inside. So make sure that you're trying to stay warm. You're not getting outside as much as possible. And you just enjoy yourself. I know it seems like a little cooped up and you might get a little stir crazy inside, but it is what it is. It's going to end tomorrow. So stay warm, Big Ten fans. Have a great day.